Hello everyone, welcome back to Chadwick's Real Tips. Today we're very honored to have one of our special rescues that we honor, and they're very talented. They've been in business for over 20 years, I believe.
Almost 20 years.
We have Susan Lumenick here and Susan Little with Colorado Mini Schnauzer and Vintage Dog Rescue. Of course, if on the social media, it's Colorado Mini Schnauzer. So for our viewers out there, tell us what inspired you to start a dog rescue. Not everyone just kind of wakes up one day and decides they want to start a dog rescue.
I had been in the rescue business before we moved out to Colorado, and I had an opportunity to help with a puppy mill rescue that we found in a corner of the state. And we happened to transport Schnauzers, and I happened to foster them, and I got some experience, and finally I got my first opportunity to actually rescue a dog. She was, her name was Heidi, and she was a little old girl who was vintage. She was an old dog.
Thus the name Vintage.
Vintage Dog Rescue, and she needed help because her owner was going to go into an assisted living and nobody else was going to take her. And so she still had a lot of life left in her. Could we help? And I thought, sure, we can help. It's just, a motel for Schnauzers. And we kind of started out with that idea, and we've branched out a little bit. We take in some other dogs that are not Schnauzers, little white fluffies. Because sometimes they need help too. Sometimes they don't have rescues. And a lot of the older dogs sometimes need rescue. They have medical issues, or the age people are a little bit afraid of taking on a senior dog because they're concerned about medical costs. And it's a legitimate concern. They can be very expensive. So we try to supplement our adoption fees with a letter that we send out every year with pictures of all of the dogs that we've adopted during the year, and we tell people what we've been doing, and we ask for help.
So now you're also a 501c3, correct?
Yes.
So people can make donations.
They can make donations. A large portion of our support comes from donations because the adoption fees do not cover somewhere around 30% of the vet bill. And
which is the largest cost.
Largest cost. We try very hard to make sure that our dogs are as healthy as possible when they're going into their new home. So we do a lot of, we do make sure they're spayed or neutered, they get shots, they get their heartworm test, they get a dental if they need it, and those can be very expensive.
For our viewers out there, for example, I'm curious, like $100 donation, what could that cover?
$100 would go a long ways, actually. For example, the series of 3 shots that we give to any dog that doesn't come in with their updated shots, which would be distemper, rabies, and bordetella, that would be about $100. If we needed special, to food, all of our money goes toward either food, vet care, grooming, enrichment activities for the dogs, that type of thing. There's no overhead other than that. It's our hobby that we do this, a lifelong hobby.
Yeah.
And so every dollar goes a long ways.
Yeah.
Microchip, maybe costs $20.
Yeah.
So a $20 donation may microchip one of the dogs for us.
Yeah, so one thing that I found very unique with your rescue, and another reason why we think you're absolutely wonderful, it's a little bit more of a holistic approach. You use a foster-based model. Could you elaborate on that? What is a foster-based model?
Foster model, there are a number of rescues that are in that process. We work out of our homes, we work out of other people's homes. So we receive the dog, and typically one of the Susans will take the dog in initially. We want to get to know it, we want to get it through some of its vet care, and so our homes are the starting point for some of these, and then as soon as they get vetted and they're maybe have served a quarantine time if they've come out of a shelter. Then we have volunteers that we have vetted. A lot of times they're people who've adopted from us before that open their home up to another dog or two to foster while they're waiting for their forever.
I think that's absolutely brilliant because, I mean, you hear these horror stories of dogs coming from kennels, you know, that are quarantined or in doggy jail, so to speak. And it's a much more of a holistic approach that you're taking them on and slowly reintroducing them back to.
You get to know them a lot better in a home environment. And you can see, you know, if they have fears or what they really like, you know, are they food motivated or they just want to you know, are
Get
they a
some
lap
cute
dog?
photos of them in a more relaxed environment.
Yes, and so we also forgot, and there I think they may be a little bit offended. We have Shangela here, who is also
She's
a rescue. She's been modeling all day. She's a little bit tired, and we also have Chloe here.
Her eyes
She's
closed.
sleeping as
She's she's just kind of closing her eyes. Thank you very, very much. A wonderful rescue. If you are thinking about fostering a dog, if you're thinking about adopting a dog, it's small to medium-sized dogs. Not only Schnauzers, you also have poodles.
Shih Tzus,
Shih Tzus.
Terriers,
Maltese, you know, small dogs, primarily terriers, who don't have other breed-based rescues.
Different ages, vintage dogs, as well as younger dogs. Definitely visit this. We'll have the details below for Colorado Mini Schnauzer, a very wonderful cause. Thank you, Susan and Susan, for being here today. And we will see you next week on Chadwick's Real Tips.